Whenever we see those headlines about the Middle East, there's almost always one event echoing in the background, a revolution way back in 1979. And it didn't just change a country, it unleashed forces that are still shaping our world today. So let's dive into the story of how that single powerful event forged modern Iran.
And really this quote it hits the nail on the head. We're not just talking about politics here. This was about identity. It was a conscious, deliberate break from the West to forge an entirely new path, a path that would set Iran on a collision course with the rest of the world.
So our story begins right here, at the dawn of that revolution. We're going to watch the dramatic transformation from a monarchy friendly to the West to something entirely new, a defiant Islamic republic. And what's wild is just how fast this all happened. Look at this. In 1979, in just a matter of months, the whole world was turned upside down. The Shah's pro-Western monarchy, gone. Ayatollah Khomeini returns from exile to a hero's welcome. And then, boom, the Islamic Republic is born. The entire foundation of a nation, remade in the blink of an eye.
Now, when you're building a new national identity from the ground up, you need a powerful story. And a huge part of Iran's news story was about defining itself against its enemies. Let's take a look at who they were.
And number one on that list, without a doubt, was the United States. In the new language of the revolution, America was cast as the ultimate villain. They were labeled the Great Satan.
And this was the moment that burned that hatred into history. The takeover of the US Embassy and that 444-day hostage crisis. That wasn't just politics, it was a message. A symbolic declaration that for the new Iran, America was the face of an empire that had to be fought, resisted, and ultimately expelled.
But America wasn't the only enemy in this new worldview. Oh no, a second adversary was identified, one much closer to home. Israel, which was given the title, the Little Satan. And you really have to understand this because it's absolutely crucial. For the revolutionary government, this isn't just a political squabble. It's a core belief, part of its DNA. Israel is seen as an illegitimate outpost of Western power, a direct roadblock to Iran's ambitions. And so, in their view, its very right to exist is denied.
Okay, so you've got your new identity and you've got your enemies to find. What's next? How do you turn all that ideology into actual action? Well, a grand strategy began to take shape, a two-pronged approach designed to project power and ensure survival.
The first part of the strategy was all about geography. The mission was to export the revolution by creating what became known as the Shia Crescent. By backing allied governments and powerful militias like Hezbollah, Iran methodically built a bridge of influence. A strategic corridor stretching from Tehran, across Iraq and Syria, all the way to Lebanon and the Mediterranean Sea. It completely changed the balance of power in the region. And the second part of the plan? That was about technology. Iran's highly controversial nuclear program. Now, Tehran has always insisted it's for peaceful energy, but the rest of the world has remained deeply suspicious. For the regime, though, having that nuclear capability is seen as the ultimate insurance policy, the one thing that can deter any attack and guarantee its seat at the table of regional powers.
But here's where it gets really fascinating. Iran's path forward is never a straight line. The country's entire strategy is constantly being pulled and pushed by a fierce internal struggle for control, a battle for the very soul of the nation.
And you can really see that battle right here, split between two main camps. On one side, you've got the Hardliners. For them, it's all about ideological purity and standing up to the West, no matter the cost. On the other side are the reformists, who are pushing for more freedoms at home and trying to find ways to engage with the world. And whoever is winning this internal tug of war at any given moment often determines how aggressively Iran acts on the world stage.
So, you take the revolution, the rivalries, the grand strategies, this constant internal battle, and it all funnels down to one massive final question. What is the ultimate goal? What is the end game of this decades-long ambition?
I mean, this is the question, isn't it? The one that keeps global leaders and strategists awake at night. After more than 40 years of this revolutionary project, what is the Ayatollahs' final ambition for Iran and for the entire Middle East?
And when you boil it all down, the answer seems to be this: to completely remake the Middle East with Iran at its very center. The ultimate prize is to become the undisputed regional superpower in a new order where American influence has been kicked out and, from their perspective, the Zionist entity, the State of Israel, has been erased.
But chasing a goal that huge, well, it opens the door to some starkly different futures. Will Iran actually pull it off and become the region's top dog? Or will all the international pressure turn it into a weak, isolated state? And what about that internal battle? Could the regime itself eventually collapse from within? Each one of these possibilities has absolutely monumental consequences for the rest of us. And so, that leaves us here, with one last lingering thought. The revolution set Iran on a unique and unyielding path. And, in doing so, has it transformed itself into a central, undeniable force, a power whose ambitions, whether they succeed or fail, will ultimately define the future of the Middle East.
At Geotectonics, our mission is to uncover these profound tectonic shifts, offering clarity in a world of complexity. If this analysis deepened your understanding, please like this video to support our work, share it with others who seek real insight, and subscribe to Geotectonics to ensure you never miss our next deep dive. We'll continue to explore the crucial geopolitical movements that define our time. Thank you for joining us.